Hello from lovely, sunny New Zealand. Let me install the ocular enhancers. There we go. Right. That looks like I've got a little Hitler moustache, little mini one there. Oh, who cares? Right. Answering atheist questions or objections. Many people say that the Bible is old-fashioned, fairy tales, none of it is true, blah, 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 blah. So how should we address that as Christians? You should try and remember at least one or two points that you can bring up. God always tells us to always have an answer, a reason for the faith that we have. Sorry, it's bothering me. For the faith that we have. Something is not true because you believe it. You should believe it if it is true. So, let's have a look at some science. Science in the Bible. Science in this book here. It's actually not a King James. So I don't always use, well, yes, I do always use the King James now. I am a convert. Right. A spherical earth. In 712 BC, when Isaiah wrote this, people thought that the earth was flat. There are still some idiots out there that think the earth is flat, like this. But the Bible doesn't say that. We read in Isaiah, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth." And in Proverbs, "When he set a compass upon the face of the depth." Circle, which in Greek, the Strong's Concordance is word number 2329, is the same as compass. So circle and compass in Hebrew is koog, K-H-O-O-G, which is to describe a circle or circuit, meaning the horizon, which is circular. So as I said, in 712 BC, when Isaiah wrote this, people thought that the earth was flat and that you would sail over the edge of it and fall off. Columbus and Magellan proved that the earth was circular by sailing around it in a circle from east to west and then returning to the point of departure. How did the Bible know that the earth was spherical? Answer: God wrote it. The earth hangs in space. Scientific fact number 2. Well, that's obvious. That's obvious to us now. Yeah. In Job, around 1500 BC, wrote he hangs the earth upon nothing. Until fairly modern times, experts believed ideas such as the earth sat on 4 elephants, who stood on a giant turtle, who swam in the ocean. Man could not imagine how the earth could hang in space on nothing. You know, Atlas holding up the earth. I think it was Atlas, I don't know. Actually, yeah, that would make sense. Atlas as in Atlas, Earth. Yet this is what happens due to gravitational attraction between the Earth and the Sun, giving the appearance that the Earth hangs on nothing. So yes, it's obvious that the Earth hangs on nothing today. It wasn't back then. If only they'd read the Bible. The Bible, okay, scientific fact number 3. The Bible includes reasonably complete descriptions of the hydrologic cycle. And if you're in public school, first, I'm sorry, but secondly, you will learn how rain happens. The water evaporates from the oceans, goes up into the clouds and rains down. That's the hydraulic circle or cycle. Okay, and we can read this in Psalms 135, verse 7. He causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightning for the rain. He brings the wind out of his treasuries. Jeremiah 10:13. When he utters his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightning for the rain. He brings the wind out of his treasuries. In these verses, you can see several phases of the hydrologic cycle. The worldwide processes of evaporation, translation aloft by atmospheric circulation, condensation with electrical discharges, and precipitation, i.e. rain. The Bible describes, what are we up to? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, 4, I think. 4. The Bible describes the recirculation of water. Ecclesiastes 1:7, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. And in Isaiah 55:10, for as the rain comes down and the snow from heaven, and do not return there, but water the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So here the Bible talks about the recirculation of water. I doubt the ancient Egyptians or Greeks knew anything about this nonsense, about this stuff. Have you guys ever heard of hydrothermal vents? Hydrothermal vents, where there's hot water vents coming at the bottom of the ocean, squirting out hot water. Okay, I don't think around 1400 BC people went to the bottom of the sea, so they wouldn't have known this. If only they'd read their Bibles. Hydrothermal vents are described in 2 books of the Bible written before 1400 BC, more than 3,000 years before their discovery by science. Let's have a look. Genesis 7:11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up and the windows of heaven were opened. This actually describes the flood. Now it shows here that the water for the flood came from the canopy of water above and also the fountains of the deep. And in Job 38:16, have you entered the springs of the sea? Or have you walked in search of the depth? Let's have a look at another one. Cloud balancing. In Job we read, dost thou know the balancing of the clouds? That's an odd phrase. Clouds are floating in the air, balanced by 2 forces. Gravity pulling them downwards and warm air pushing them upwards. How did Job know about this in 1500 BC? God told him. I've lost count of what number we're up to. Anyway, all mankind came from one woman. In Genesis, the 3rd chapter, verse 20, we read, Adam called his wife Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. DNA is found in every cell in both the nucleus and the mitochondrion, which is the energy station. Mitochondrial DNA is always and only inherited from the mother, right? Now, analysis of this DNA in humans from all over the world shows unmistakably that all humans have inherited it from one woman. This research was done by Wilson, Kane, and Stone King from the University of California, Berkeley. You can find that in the paper Creation Ex Nihilo, Volume 12, Number 2, March 1990. Now, of course, there can be debate about who that woman is. They say it was some African woman. But the fact that we have proven that we have all come from a single woman is remarkable. I mean, I even know her husband's name, Adam. Another great piece of scientific evidence in this ancient and outdated book is that the bloodstream carries life. In Leviticus, we read the life of the flesh is in the blood. Have you ever noticed outside barber shops the swirling bar or tube with white and red stripes coming down? Okay, just fix that in your head and I'll get back to that if I remember. Now, from 400 BC to 1900 AD, a procedure called bloodletting was popular. Sick people had blood drained from their bloodstream as a supposed therapeutic measure. They had to drain out the bad blood. Oh, you've got bad blood. It was responsible for killing millions of people, such as George Washington. People thought that blood carried disease instead of life. By draining the blood, the patient died of blood loss. Now we give blood to some sick patients. If only they'd opened up the Bible. The Bible was right all along. You would go to the barber to have your blood let. Hence the red stripe, the flow of blood. Another piece of scientific evidence. Winds have weight and hence air pressure. Winds have weight and hence air pressure. In Job we read, to make the weight for the winds. Galileo in 1600 AD noted that a suction pump would not rise water more than 34 feet. Torricelli suggested that if air could support a column of water 34 feet high, then air should support a column of mercury around 2.5 feet high, because mercury is 13 times as heavy as water. Torricelli made a mercury barometer and proved that air has pressure. If only they'd read the Bible. Now here's a good one. Excuse me. Can a whale swallow Jonah? people point to, oh, see, can a whale swallow a man? Or a great fish? Well, God's classification system of animals is probably different to ours, invented by Carolus Linnaeus. Maybe to God, everything that lives in the water is a fish. So I wouldn't get hung up on these atheists that say, well, the Bible says fish, it couldn't have been a whale. A whale isn't a fish. A whale is a mammal. Well, yes, according to our definition, not according to God's. So can a whale swallow Jonah? In Jonah 1:17, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Many people use this as their reason for doubting the Bible's truthfulness. How can a fish swallow a man? What a shame these people are ignorant. Did you know that there are several cases in modern times where it has been reported of a whale swallowing a man who survived? No, you didn't know that. You just want to bash the Bible without checking to see if your facts are correct. One is reported by Francis Fox in the book 63 Years of Engineering. Oh, a science book, engineering science. Page 298 to 300, okay? Look for the book 63 Years of Engineering. Page 298 to 300. And was confirmed by 2 scientists. Scientists can never be wrong. One being M. de Parvel, the scientific editor of Journal des Débats in Paris. In February 1891, the whaling ship Star of the East was near the Falkland Islands, where they sighted a large sperm whale. 2 boats were sent out after the whale. One boat harpooned the whale, but the whale upset the other boat. Well, not as much as the boats upset the whale. Drowning one man and the other sailor, James Bartley, disappearing without a trace. After the whale was killed and cut open 2 days later, James Bartley was found unconscious and doubled up in the whale. He had lost his senses through fright and not through lack of air. His skin was bleached white from stomach acid. He fully recovered. If a man can survive 2 days in a whale in 1891, surely Jonah could have survived 3 days in a great fish in 862 BC. Right, so fairy tale, Jonah and the whale? No! Actual account. And our last bit of scientific facts that you can find in this ancient and old-fashioned book called the Bible is that light can be parted and dispersed into a rainbow spectrum. Light can be parted or dispersed into a rainbow spectrum. In Hebrews, not in Hebrews, Job 38, by what way is the light parted? Parted in Hebrew is chalak or shalak, which means separated. White light can be separated into 7 colours of the spectrum, which are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Everyone knows that. They didn't always know that. This was not understood until experiments with light were performed in the 1600s. If only they read the Bible. Note that light is like Jesus Christ. I am the light of the world. As light has 7 colours, so Christ has the 7 spirits of God. And you can see that in Isaiah 11:1 and 2. So, there are just some scientific evidences that show that the Bible is true. I've just done a Google search for James Bartley. And yeah, he was swallowed by a sperm whale. So it is possible. Okay, so the next time someone tells you that the Bible is not scientific, you might want to quote them a couple. The blood one is very good, and the spherical earth. Just try and memorize those two, and yeah, that'll give you some ammunition to use against our atheist friends who we love, and we must convince them in love to at least read the Bible and study it. So look after yourselves, and God bless.